How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Lamed Vav, Daf 36 of Masechta BavaKama. Friends, friends. Friends. Today we're starting the fourth parak of Masechta BavaKama. Here's the thing. I don't have much time because Shabbos is coming, and what's that? Okay. I don't have much time because Shabbos is coming. Here's the deal. So, the way I see it, the first part of the daf is slow, but the second part of the daf should be able to move. So that's my mahalach. As long as this daf is less than 40 minutes, we should have enough time. So, but I mean, given the past week or so, I mean, have there been any dafs this week less than 50 minutes? I don't know, maybe one or two. It's BavaKama is taking time. It's taking time. It says the Mishnah, Shor shenogach abavach misha shvorim. Ze'achar zeh. Yishalem la'achron sheboim. V'im yesh bo moser, yachzor l'shelefonov. V'im yesh bo moser, yachzor l'shelefnei fonov. V'achron nisker divrei meir. Wow. Reb Shimon Omer Shoshav Masayim Shnugach L'Shoshav Masayim Vein HaNeveli Yofe Klum Zenut HaMona V'Zenut HaMona Chosav V'Nogach Shor Acher Shav Masayim V'Acher V'Zenut HaMona V'Shelefonov Zenut HaChamishim Zuz V'Zenut HaChamishim Zuz Chosav V'Nogach Shor Acher Shav Masayim V'Acher V'Zenut HaMona V'Shelefonov Chamishim Zuz V'Shnaim Harishonim Dinar Zov. Wow. Should I just go to sleep? Boop, ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doo. Any volunteers? Anybody want to explain it? Okay. Let's start over. So how about this? I'm going to explain the Mishnah, even though we don't know this yet, but I'm going to explain it as if we do know it, okay? I'm going to explain Reb Meir like Reb Yishmael and Reb Shimon like Reb Akiva, okay? Namely, Reb Yishmael that the nizak is be'etzim like a balchov, he's owed money, and says Reb Yishmael, and Reb Akiva says that the mazik and the nizak become partners in the shor mazik. Okay, so for the first part of the Mishnah, so let's start from the beginning. Okay, so Ruvain's shor just goes on a goring spree. Okay. One after the other. Yishalim la'achrin sheboim. So you start with the last one. Okay, so let's say Ruvain's shor is 200 zuz, right? The shor mazik is 200 zuz, and let's say Yehuda's shor was also 200 zuz, chatzi nezek. So Ruvain owes Yehuda, meaning Ruvain's ox scored Shimon's ox, Levi's ox, Yehuda's ox, and we're saying that we're starting at the end, right? You said Yishalem la'achrin shaboim, so you start with Yehuda. So chatzi nezek of Yehuda's shor is 100 zuz. So you pay 100 zuz, and Ruvain's shor is 200 zuz, so there's enough, right? You only pay up to the value of Ruvain's shor, but it's 200 zuz, so there's enough. So you pay 100 zuz to Yehuda, and now we address Levi's claims. Levi's shor is also 200 zuz. So his chatzi nezek is also 100 zuz. So again, Ruvain's shor was 200 zuz. We already paid 100 zuz to Yehuda, but there's 100 left over. So the 100 goes to Levi, and Levi gets his chatzi nezek. Now we look at Shimon. Shimon says, right, my shor was 200 zuz, chatzi nezek is 100 zuz, but we say, sorry, Ruvain, there's no money left, right? Meaning the pool was 200 zuz, right? Because Ruvain's ox was 200 zuz, so there was kind of like a 200 zuz pool for chatzi nezek payments. Yehuda received 100, Levi received 100. There's nothing left for Shimon. Okay, so again, so shor shenogach abavach misha shvarim. So Ruvain's ox gored 4 or 5 oxen, although I guess in our example 3 oxen. I don't think it really makes a difference. So So shvarim, right? So zeh chazeh, one after the other. Shalom la'achron shaboim. So you start by paying chatzi nezek to the last one. Ve'im, and maybe you're wondering how could if it gore 4 or 5 shvarim and still be a shor tam. Rashi points out how it could be possible. So yishalim la'achron shaboim ve'im yesh bo moser, if there's still money left over in the pool, so yachzu the shalafanov, so you go to the second to last victim. And then if after paying the second to last victim there's still more left in the pool, so you go to the third to last victim, nisker, and we start at the end of the victims, and the last victims get paid first, and we work backwards from there. Divrei Meir, that's Reb Meir's opinion. Now Reb Shimon Omer, Reb Shimon is like Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva says that as the oxen get gored, right? So as Shimon's ox and Levi's ox and Yehuda's ox get gored, so then they become partners with Ruvain in his ox, right? So maybe let's talk about it outside first, and then we'll read it inside. So Ruvain's ox is worth 200 zuz, right? We're going to assume that all the oxen are 200 zuz. So Ruvain's ox gores Shimon's ox and kills Shimon's ox. The carcass is not worth anything. So Shimon's chatzi nezek is 100 zuz, but what we're saying is that they become partners. Reuven and Shimon become partners, which means that Shimon takes a 50% stake in Reuven's ox, right? Shimon takes a 50% stake in Reuven's ox. It's so fun. It's weird using the word stake when it comes to an ox for obvious reasons. So it's like, it just throws me off because I'm saying like a 50% stake, but in my mind I'm seeing like a ribeye steak. What do you want me to tell you? S-T-A-K-E, not S-T-A-K-E, not S-T-E-A-K. But what can I tell you? So Shimon takes a 50% stake in, sorry if I just ruined it for you, in Reuven's ox. Okay, so now Reuven's ox was 200 zuz. Be'etzem Reuven owes 100 zuz of it, and Shimon owns 100 zuz of it. And now they own the ox. Now, their jointly owned ox goes and kills Levi's ox. Levi's ox was also 200 zuz. Levi's claim against the jointly owned ox is for 100 zuz. So, Levi now has a 100 zuz stake in the ox. Reuven and Shimon both kind of liquidated, right? They got diluted, I guess, in investor terms. So their shares got diluted. And now their 50% stake becomes 25% stake each. So now they each own 50 zuz worth, and Levi owns 100 zuz worth. Now this jointly owned ox gores Yehuda's ox and kills Yehuda's ox. So again, Yehuda now gets a 50, right? So he gets the Shor HaMazik is 200 zuz. He killed Yehuda's ox, which is 200 zuz. Chatzi nezek is 100 zuz. So from that ox, they basically also get diluted, and now 100 zuz of the ox is owned now by Yehuda, and then everybody's shares get diluted 50%. So Yehuda owns 100 zuz of the ox. Levi owns 50 zuz of the ox, and Reuven and Shimon each own 25 zuz of the ox. That's the case. So let's look at it in the Gemara. So Reb Shimon in the Mishnah. So Reb Shimon Omer says, Reb Shimon, Shoshavim Mosayim Shinogach Shoshavim Mosayim. So if Reuven's ox, which is worth 200 zuz, kills Shimon's ox, which was worth 200 zuz, ve'enan aveli ofa klum, and the carcass is worth nothing. So Shimon lost all 200 zuz, and he's entitled to chatzi nezek. Zen notel mono v'zen notel mono. So then Reuven and Shimon become partners in the Shor HaMazik, and each one owns 100 zuz worth of the Shor HaMazik. Chazer v'nogach shor acher shav masayim. If the Shor HaMazik now kills Levi's ox, which was 200 zuz, so now Levi claims against this ox 100 zuz. So now Levi owns 100, right? So Achri notel mana. So Levi now owns 100 zuz worth of the Shor HaMazik. V'shelefonov, and Reuven and Shimon, zen notel chamishim zuz v'zen notel chamishim zuz. Reuven and Shimon now each own 50 zuz worth of the ox. Chazer v'nogach, if the jointly owned ox now kills Yehuda's ox, shor acher shavim mosayim, that's 200 zuz. So ha'achron. So Yehuda now gets paid his chatzin nezek, his 100 zuz from the shor ha'mazik. So Yehuda now owns 100 zuz worth, and then everybody else's shares get diluted. Ha'achron otamona v'shalafonov chamishim zuz. Levi, his share, his stake is now 50 zuz. V'shnayim rishonim dinar zav, and Reuven and Shimon now each own 25 zuz worth. Masnisin money to lo Rabbi Shmuel u'to lo Rabbi Akiva. So now the Mishnah, the Gemara asks, like whom is this Mishnah? It's like neither Rabbi Shmuel nor is it like Rabbi Akiva. And we're focusing now on the first part of the Mishnah, right, where we said that you start at the end and Yehuda gets his Chatzi Nezek payment first, and then if there's any money left in the pool, then it goes to Levi. If there's any money left in the pool, it goes to Shimon, right? So Ik Rabbi Shmuel, if it's like Rabbi Shmuel, to Amar Baile Chovis Ninu, right? That Rabbi Shmuel says that, look, Reuven simply owes money to these people, and they each become creditors, right? That he owes them money. So Achron Iskar Rishon Iskar. But if that's the case, then why do we start at the end? Maybe you were wondering this. Why do we start at the end? Wouldn't it make sense to say that we should go in order of damages, right? If Shimon's ox got killed first, shouldn't his claim be first? Why are we starting with Yehuda? So Achron Iskar Rishon Iskar Mibayle. So Ik Rabbi Akiva, and if we're saying that the Reisha is Rabbi Akiva, well then the Amar Torah the Shutfei, who says that they all become partners in the ox, Ha Yeshbo Moser Yachzir L'Shelefonov, adds the Agos Sabach Yachzir Lekulam Mibai Le. But if that's the case, that they're all partners, then what does it mean that if there's any leftover value in the ox, then it goes to the previous, victim? It should go to all of them, right? They're all partners in the ox. Each person should get should be able to get a portion in whatever value is left over based on what stake they have in the ox, right? So what's going on? Is the Reisha? It sounds like the Reisha is not Rabbi Shmuel. Sounds like the Reisha is not Rabbi Akiva. So Rava says Rabbi la'olam Rabbi Shmuel. Okay, so really the Reisha is Rabbi Shmuel. Who says that each nizak becomes a creditor to the mazik. But we asked, if that's the case, then how come Yehuda gets paid first? Why doesn't Shimon get paid first? He was the first nizak. So Hochav Mayaskinan Kigon Shetofsu Nizak Legabis Heimenu V'naise Olav Kishomer Socher Lenizokin Shnaikis. Yochi Yesh Bamosi Yachsu the Shelafon of Yachsu the Bailim Boyle. Shnaikis. Okay, who can tell me what's going on over here? Okay, so no guarantees that I understand this correctly, or at least to its full extent. But this is what I'll explain what I understand. So basically, okay, so what happens is this. Reuven's ox gores Shimon's ox, okay? Shimon's ox dies, okay? Reuven's ox is 200 zuz. Shimon's ox is 200 zuz. Shimon's ox is an oxwood. So now if you're Rabbi Yishmael, so simply Shimon, the Nizak, becomes a Balchov, a creditor, to Reuven. Okay, Reuven owes Shimon 100 zuz, Chatzi Nezek. Okay, fine. Here's the thing. Shimon doesn't wait for Reuven to pay him, he just takes the ox. Just takes the ox. So now, and he takes it as like a guarantee that he's not gonna lose his payment. So now what happens is he becomes be'etzim a shomer socher. He has to guard this ox, which then goes on to gore a whole bunch of other oxen, right? But Shimon now becomes a shomer socher. He needs to guard this shor hamazik. He needs to guard Reuven's ox now. But so he's a shomer socher, and he's also, because 50% of Reuven's ox, right, 100 zuz worth, 50% of it is right. He's taking as his payment for his damages that he incurred. So because this ox is also serving as his payment, so he has to guard the ox, but he's also being paid with it, so he becomes like a paid guardian, a shomer sacher. Now, at the same time, Shimon only owns, only 50% of Reuven's ox is shaykh to Shimon, right? Chatzi nezek. The other part is still shaykh to Reuven, belongs to Reuven, and will always belong to Reuven. So now what happens is, now Shimon is responsible to guard this ox. But the ox goes and kills Levi's ox. So now Shimon was responsible to guard the ox. So my understanding then is that be'etzem, what Shimon owes to, as I said, Shimon was only only shaykh to half of the ox, right? The first half of the ox, he had, right, is still Reuven's, and Shimon, kind of, I guess, in a sense, like had no business taking it. It's not his. It's Reuven's, and it will always remain Reuven's. So if I understand correctly, Shimon's responsibility to Levi is only up to 100 zuz worth, right? The original, right. The value of the Shor Mazik is 200 zuz. 100 of that is Reuven's, and it will remain Reuven's. When Shimon is now a shomer sacher and he's responsible to guard this ox, and I guess he doesn't do a good enough job, and it kills Levi's ox, so Shimon is only going to be responsible for Levi's damages up to 100 zuz, up to the part that was relevant to him. And then what happens is Levi then basically, instead of waiting for the payment, he then takes that ox. Or maybe the point is that Levi takes, no, I think this is the point. So again, so Shimon's ox, Shimon was guarding the ox, he didn't do a good enough job, so then the ox then kills Levi's ox. Now Levi, instead of waiting for his payment, he then takes the ox. But remember, half of the ox still belongs to Reuven, right? So when Levi takes the ox so that he can get paid back, so then he's basically holding on to, I guess, 100 zuz worth for his chatzi nezek. In which case, Shimon basically is getting nothing. Because remember that, right, this is like Rabbi Yishmael, that, it's not like they become partners in the ox. Simply Reuven owes Shimon 100 zuz. Now, Shimon, instead of waiting for the 100 zuz, he just took the whole ox. Now, half of that ox is Reuven's. When that, he then becomes a shomer sacher for that ox then goes and kills Levi's ox. Levi then takes the ox. So Shimon basically loses his, right, the 100% that belonged to Reuven still remains Reuven's. Levi took the ox from Shimon. Now, 100 zuz worth of the ox would have been for Shimon, but now Levi took it. So now it goes for Levi. And for that reason, basically, each subsequent person is going to get his stake first. Okay. I don't know if I explained that correctly. I might be making a mistake, but I might be at least close to getting it right. So again, so where are we? So Hachob Mayaskinon, right? Fourth line of the Gemara. Kigon Shetafso Nizak. Shimon just took the ox from Reuven so that he can get paid back his 100 zuz. When I say all of Shomer Sacher, now he becomes a paid custodian for it, a Shomer Sacher. He needs to guard it. Then the Zaken in terms of damages. Now, Ihachi, if that's the case, Yeshbo Moser. But if when we say that if there's anything left over, it should go to the person who got damaged previously, I guess in our example, Reuven, Shimon, and Levi, so Shimon. But it should be if there's anything left over, it goes to Reuven, because as I kind of keep on saying, the part of the ox, right, only half of the ox was for Shimon's damages. The other half of it still belonged to Reuven, and that should go back to him, because even when Levi takes that ox, he's only taking the 100 zuz of the ox that belongs to him. Half of it was still Reuven's, I think, or maybe something like that. So Amar Ravina, so says Ravina, Hachi Katani, this is what it's saying. Im yesh bo moser bin izakov yachzir l'shelefonav. If there's anything left over in the damages, it goes to the person before. And so meaning, so Reuven's shore is 200 zuz, okay, and he kills Shimon's ox, which was also 200 zuz. The Chatzin Esek is 100 zuz. Shimon takes the whole ox. So now 100 zuz of it still belongs to Reuven. Now Shimon, so now in the event that while Shimon's guarding the ox, and then, I don't know, kills Levi's ox, but Levi's ox is only 100 zuz, let's say, so the Chatzin Esek is only 50 zuz. Levi then takes the ox, right? Now the ox of Reuven's ox is 200 zuz. So we're saying that, remember, of the initial 50% when Shimon took it, so then, right, 100 of it was Reuven's and it remains Reuven's. Now of the 100 zuz, when it caused 50 chatzin ezek zuz worth of damage to Levi, and Levi takes the ox, so then he can get 50 zuz of it. If there's anything left over, which there is, there's another 50 zuz left over from that 100 zuz, so that would go to Shimon, and then the rest would go to Reuven. So we're saying if from the damages there's like left over, that would go to the previous person. I don't know, I hope I got that somewhat close to right. Also when Ravin came, Rabbi Yochanan, he said that in Rabbi Yochanan mishum pshias shomer naguba, that this is a situation of custodians being negligent. Okay, that kind of wraps up like the hard part of the daf. I hope that the rest of it we can move pretty quickly. So now it says the Gemara, "B'mayu kimta Rabbi Shmuel." So are we saying that the Mishnah is Rabbi Shmuel, but Yachi Ema Seifa? But what about Rabbi Shimon's part? Rabbi Shimon says Rabbi Shimon, "Shor shavim masayim shenogach shor shavim masayim." Reuven's shore that is worth 200 zuz kills Shimon's shore that's 200 zuz. Ve'ena neveli ofer klum, and the carcass is worth nothing. Zenot amana v'zenot amana. So they become partners in Reuven's ox, and each one owns 100 zuz worth. Chazav v'nogach shor acher shavim masayim. If then the ox gores Levi's ox that's worth 200 zuz, acher not amana. So Levi now owns 100 zuz stake in the ox. V'shelefonav zenota chamishim zuz, zenota chamishim zuz. Now Reuven and Shimon each own 50 zuz worth. Chazer v'nogach shor shavet masayim. If then the ox gored Yehuda's ox, that's 200 zuz. Achon nota mana v'shelefonav nota chamishim zuz v'shnam rishonim dinar zav. Well then Yehuda owns 100 zuz worth of the ox. Levi owns 50 zuz, and Reuven and Shimon each own 25 zuz. So suddenly Rabbi Akiva to Amar Torah deshutfei hu. That sounds like Rabbi Akiva, who says that the ox is jointly owned in partnership. So Reish Rabbi Shmuel v'Seifa Rabbi Akiva. So are we saying that the Reish is Rabbi Shmuel and the Seifa is Rabbi Akiva? Amri in, they say yo de ha Amr le Shmuel Rabbi Yehuda. Shmuel says to Rabbi Yehuda, as we've seen a few times already, Shinana, a sharp one, Shivok Masnisin v'Saba. So I don't quit trying to figure out how the Mishnah is goes like one opinion. No, Reisha Rabbi Shmuel v'Seifa Rabbi Akiva. The first part is Rabbi Shmuel. The second part is Rabbi Akiva. Tanan Osam, we learned, I believe later on, Hatokeh lachavero no sino sela, that if somebody either hits his friend in his ear or blows sharply into his ear, loudly into his ear, so his boshes is going to be 1 sela, which is 4 zuz. Rabbi Yehuda, although we'll see in a second more about that. Rabbi Yehuda Omer b'shem Rabbi Yosef Glili Mona. Rabbi Yehuda says in Rabbi Yosef Glili 100 zuz is the boshes. How Gavi the Taka the Chavrei, there was a fellow who did this to his friend, Shalchei Rav Tuvia by Master Lekame to Rav Yosef. So Rav Tuvia by Master sends him to Rav Yosef Sela Tzuri Tanan or Sela Medina Tanan. Is the Sela that we're talking about for the Boshes, is it a Sela Tzuri, which is 4 zuz, or a Sela Medina, which is half a zuz? Amar Lei, so Rav Yosef says, Tanisua, we learn in a Brisa V'Shnayim Arishonim, we learned in our Mishnah, V'Shnayim Arishonim Dinar Zob. So we said, right, so our Mishnah talks about a scenario where Yehuda owns 100 zuz, Levi owns 50 zuz, and Reuven and Shimon each own 25 zuz. So now V'Yisakadaitech Tani Tana Sela Medina. Now if we're talking about Sela Medina, which is half a zuz, well, if that's the case, Niflok V'Nesni Ad Tresar V'Sela. If that's the case, well then we should be able to take it one level deeper, right? That if the ox then gores Yisachar's ox, that's 200 zuz, so then Yisachar owns 100 zuz worth, Yehuda owns 50 zuz worth, Levi owns 25 zuz worth, and Reuven and Shimon each own 12 and a half zuz worth, right? Meaning if we're going so far down as to half zuz territory, well then we should even go one level deeper where Reuven and Shimon each own 12 and a half zuz worth of the ox. So Amar Le Tana Kiruchla Leisni Velezel, to which he responds, meh. It could still be talking about a half zuz, but like, what is the Tana just like a merchant who's like trying to like sell his wares, trying to go into like all these kinds of details that are in the weeds. We don't need to get into the weeds. It could still be a half a zuz, but like the fact that we don't talk about 12 and a half zuz in the Mishnah doesn't mean that we don't get carried away over there. You know what I mean? So how do we paskin? So is it a 4 zuz or is it half a zuz? So Pashtu Me'ah the Amar Yehuda Amar Rab, they answered it from that which Yehuda says name Rab Kol Kesef Amar B'Torah Kesef Tzuri V'Shal Devim Kesef Medina. Look, when we talk about Kesef, if it's Midah Oraisa, we're talking about Kesef Tzuri 4 zuz. If it's Midah Rabbanon, such as over here, like how much is the boshes for injuring somebody like this, so then it's going to be Kesef Medina, it's going to be half a zuz. So now the fellow who got injured said, look, if we're only talking about half a zuz, I don't really care, I don't need it. So lo ba'ina, I don't need it. Neis v'laniyim, give it to the poor people. Hadar Amar, then he changed his mind. Hadar Amar le, neis v'niali ezel v'brebe nafshay. He then changed his mind and says, you know what? Let me have the half a zuz and I'll go spend it on myself. If Yosef says to him, too late, the aniyim already belongs to the aniyim. You already said give it to tzedakah. And even though there are no poor people here, onon yad aniyim onon. We kind of represent the aniyim. Rashi says Rav Yosef have a gaboy, right? He was the gaboy tzedakah. So too late, saying that you were going to give it to the aniyim, basically we can consider it giving it to them. To Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, Yisomim einan tzrichim pruzbol. That Yisomim don't need to make a pruzbol, because a pruzbol is at the end of Shemitah, you take whatever money that you're owed and you basically transfer it to Bezdin so that it can be collectible. But the Yisomim don't need to make a pruzbol because already Bezdin takes care of them. V'chein Tani Rami BavaKama Yisomim einan tzrichim pruzbol. Rami BavaKama also says that Yisomim don't need pruzbol. Rami Gamliel Uvezdino Avin Shal Yisomim Ayu. Rami Gamliel and his Bezdin were the fathers of the orphans, right? So another example that the Bezdin takes care of the Yisomim, takes care of the poor people. Chanan Bisha, Chanan the big nudnik, sounds like a good children's book. Chanan the big nudnik. Takalei Lau Gavra, he hurt a fellow in his ear or something. So the came to Rafuna, so he came before Rafuna. So the fellow who got hurt came before Rafuna. Amalei, and Rafuna says, Zil havle palga de zuzah. So he says to Chanan Bisha, Chanan the big nudnik, he says, give him half a zuz for a boshes. Havle zuzah macha. All he had was a gnarly zuz. By lemez vale mine palga, and he figured, all right, I'll just give half of this zuz. Palga de zuzah. Lo have a mishtakil le, but he wasn't able to get change. So you know what he did? He says, all right, well, it looks like I have no choice but to give the whole zuz. I may as well get my money worth. So he hit him again, and that way he'll be chayiv a full zuz. And he said, at least he got his money's worth, and he gave him the full zuz. Friends, that was Daf Lamed Vav of Masechta BavaKama. I hope you enjoyed. Peace out.